I would put them in the stroller and we would go to Panther Creek, or
Right.
we would go up to Max Patch. We would do something, really short, easy. I mean, I have pictures of him March of what that would have been 2016. So he was maybe 16 months old, toddling along up along Max Patch. There's snow on the ground, and she's, 2.5, almost 3. And so they don't remember some of those earliest adventures, but we had them out basically as soon as they could walk, as soon as they could put feet on the ground, and even before that, as soon as they could.
Everyone, this is Jeremy, and thanks for joining in on Price Points Podcast. Here at Price Points, we believe in finding fun ways to stay active. And in this episode, actually talking to Stewart Family. You talk about a fun way to stay active, man, they have figured it out. So with me, I'll have Jennifer and her kids, Elizabeth and Landon. 3 of them recently completed, that's easy for me to say, but the 3 of them recently completed the Great Smoky Mountains 900-mile club. Now, the 900-miler really just is every trail within the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Now, we're talking about in the state of Tennessee and in North Carolina. And these kids did a phenomenal job. I can't stress that enough. In fact, they're going to be the youngest kids that have ever, not youngest kids, youngest people, the youngest people that have ever completed this 900-miler. So we're going to talk to them about that, really what motivated them to do that, what drove them to do it, and just kind of talking about some fun adventures that they had along the way. Now, actually met the 3 of them I believe it was last spring. I was hiking with Max's soccer club. They had a tournament in Gatlinburg. And after the tournament, a few of us went for a hike. And Wes, one of the parents, a friend of mine, actually knows the Stewart family, bumped into him, talked to him, and then introduced us. And afterwards, kind of told the rest of us, all of us who were hiking with Wes, that the kids were just finishing that was the last mile they were doing for the 900-miler. So it's just wild that they were able to do that. So chatting it up with them, and this is overall just a really great podcast. It's a good one to listen to, and very thankful that the Stewart family came aboard. Now, before getting into the interview with them, just kind of want to touch on the end of the month here. We've got our first Trails and Ales hiking event. We're partnering with Peaceful Side Brewery in Maryville, Tennessee. We're going to go out and hike Middle Prong. Actually, kind of full circle here. Middle Prong was a hike that Wes had suggested to me actually that same weekend. So it's a great hike. It's a fun one. It's fairly easy, and you're really kind of hiking along a stream and several waterfalls on this hike. So great opportunity to get some excellent photos of some water. Afterwards, we're going to go back to the brewery in Maryville. It's just a short drive from Tremont, where the hike is. And from there, brewery is going to hook us up with a complimentary free flight of some of their brews. And I tell you, if you haven't had any of the beers there, man, you're missing out. And so this is a great opportunity to try them out at no cost. Find one you like, maybe grab a pint, grab a bite while you're there. It's great people, be a fantastic time. To register for that, and just go to Price Points, that's price-points.com, or you can click on the link here in the show notes. Again, here we are with the Stewart family talking about the Great Smoky Mountain 900-mile club. All right, I want to thank the Stewart family for coming on to Price Points. Gang, just kind of introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jennifer Stewart. from Knoxville, but we now live up outside of Knoxville in Jefferson County. And I'm a teacher, obviously a mom, also an artist, and of course an avid hiker. I've hiked basically all my life. The Smokies have been my backyard. So it's just kind of always been there, always been that lure that you see off in the distance, and the hopes to get away, to escape. So since I was probably in high school, it was about my senior year in high school, I joined our environmental club that we had. And at that point, we were doing trail maintenance. We had adopted Anthony Creek and campsite number 9 for our club, and we would go up and we would, once a month, go up there, check the trail, check the campsite, clean that up. And it was at that point that I had told myself I at some point want to hike all the trails in the Smokies. I had bought myself my first brown book then, my map, and me as this, 17-year-old, 16, 17-year-old kid looking at it, it's like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I just, always said I wanted to. And it wasn't until after college, after grad school, after kids, I was kind of able to really dedicate myself back to that. But we hiked with them and I kept hiking. It was just that I wasn't necessarily avidly on that path quite then. It was just wherever I was, can I get out? Can we go do something? Then they came along and they started to join us on hikes. And here we are, I guess, as 900 milers, the three of us collectively. So,
Well, Daddy is too.
well, Daddy's working on it. We're going to get him there. Yeah. So, who wants to go next?
Hi, my name's Landon. I'm in 3rd grade. Um, I like to hunt. I like to hike.
What sports do you play?
I play basketball, football, baseball, travel baseball.
You have a favorite project in school?
My favorite subject is math.
Oh,
My favorite trail is wait,
Here, we'll get back to that one.
okay.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Elizabeth. I am in 5th grade. I play softball, cheer, and I do gymnastics. I like to hike, and my favorite subject is math and
You both like
social studies.
you both like drawing.
And I like
Oh,
art.
yeah.
And
Snails.
I like snails and puppies.
awesome. Thank you all. Now, so Jefferson County, I go up there often. I'll go up there to Panther Creek, and I
Yep.
really enjoy kayaking and hiking. And my son Max and I have hiked up there. But another reason we really like Jefferson County and going up to Panther Creek is because that's also the closest pals for us in Knoxville.
Yes.
So,
Going, yeah. That,
yeah. Now, are you all? Are you all fans of pals?
Yeah.
my husband went to ETSU, and so when we moved down here, he was like, "Okay, this is at that threshold. We're still same."
I mean,
here."
you're right there. It is.
Yeah.
I kid you not. It is 54 minutes from my house. I've got it timed like that to the closest
Yeah.
pal. So that's
Yeah.
it's a great place. I was introduced to it a lifetime ago when I was in college down in Chattanooga. I had a lot of friends who were from the Tri-Cities, particularly from
Yeah.
Kingsport, and so
Okay.
they indoctrinated me when I was in college, and so I would make excuses to go up to the Tri-Cities, and every time I go up there, I have to stop at Pals, and now I'm up there quite often. I'm not a significant
Yeah.
other. She lives in Johnson City, and
Okay.
she actually lives walking distance to the Pals near ETSU. So, so that's one of the reasons why I have to find ways to stay active, like hiking. Otherwise, I would probably be as big as Jabba the Hutt because I eat there so often. But no, so first off, congratulations on getting the 900. I don't even think I'm at 90 I don't even think I have 10% of that in the Smokies. So that's killer. But what led you all to really, I guess what drew the two of you to hiking? And then what, at that point, where did you all kind of decide, hey, I think we're going to do this?
You want to go? Okay.
Well, I started when I was like 3. My mom started me, and then we kept going to Panther Creek, and then she asked me if I wanted to do 900 and try to be the youngest, and I said, yeah.
Also in your gaps. You want to take it?
I started at like 5.
Yeah. I mean, when we started really marking miles, yeah.
Yeah. We like did Big Creek, right?
We would go up to Big Creek a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah.
Big Creek in the Smokies and hike that a lot. And like on hot days, we would swim in the pools and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And I guess to fill in the gaps, as soon as I could get them outside, so like they don't even necessarily remember, because I would put them in the stroller and we would go to Panther Creek, or we would go up to Max Patch. We would do something, really short, easy. I mean, I have pictures of him March of what that would have been 2016. So he was maybe 16 months old, toddling along Max Patch. There's snow on the ground, and she's, 2.5, almost 3. And so they don't remember some of those earliest adventures, but we had them out basically as soon as they could walk, as soon as they could put feet on the ground. And even before that, as soon as they were just old enough to get outside, they were always with us somewhere, somehow. Of course, myself, some of my earliest hiking experiences, I was probably, 5, 6. My brother was 5 or 6 years old. I was probably about 7 or 8, and we'd gone to Gregory's Bald. So I've always done it. And then they just kind of fell in, and it became such a part of their lives that I don't think they realized that wasn't like something that normal people do. Like, oh, there's another option, right? We're going to go hike today, or we're going to go over to Panther Creek and, walk our little loop trail, or all those things that we just always kind of have done. But yeah, he was probably about 3 and she was probably about 5. And I mean, this was 2000, oh gosh, that would have been 2018, somewhere in there, 2017, 2018. I picked up one of those little, log books from the Smokies, and I just kind of started logging their miles. And, little bits, he was 3. So I mean, he was maybe doing, 4 or 5 miles max, and nothing that was crazy. But I'll just start logging their miles. And then it was probably about 2019. I had asked them, hey, because I was doing some bigger hikes then on my own at that point. And I asked them, is this something that you guys are at all interested in doing with me? And their, uninformed, uneducated response was, yeah, sure, why not? We're already doing it.
So you all didn't know what you're getting into.
No.
Oh man. Now, are you all, I mean, I'm going to assume, and sometimes when you assume you're wrong, I'm going to assume you all are the youngest ones to finish. Is that right? Man, that's
as best we know. I mean, from everything that I've kind of learned from talking with the director of the 900 Miler Club, and with the folks who have other kids who have done it. As far as we know, there's only 6 individuals under 18 who've completed it, and they're the 2 youngest. Now, of course, like they didn't really start like keeping this list until I think it was Lou Murray in the 90s started. But of course, Margaret Stevenson's the first one who's recognized for doing all of the trails, and that was in the 1970s, maybe 1976, if I'm somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay.
So,
okay. Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's killer. That's great that you all did that. That's, and I know that, we met very, very briefly because we were on the same trail, and I believe actually, yeah, that was the last trail. That's where you all got the 900, because I was up there. I was in the Smokies. My son was at a soccer tournament, and the last day of the tournament, a few of us went hiking afterwards, and I was about to drive up from Gatlinburg up to Johnson City, to spend the next few days up there. And I wanted to make sure I stretched my legs. So Wes, one of the parents, and really our mutual friend, Wes was like, yeah, I think we should go hike this trail. And so we went out there, and I know that he stopped and spoke to you all for a while, and did some quick introductions. Hey, this is everyone, and then afterwards, like when Wes kind of caught up, afterwards with you guys, he made the comment. He was like, yeah, they're about to finish the 900. And they're like, gosh, holy smokes, that's awesome. So, I mean, that's, so that's very cool. And that particular trail, and I'm forgetting the name of that one. That's a neat one, because there's an old engine down at the bottom, and
Graveyard. Yeah.
What was that again?
Graveyard.
That's it. Yeah. And that's a fun one. That was a fun one. And and we went out to, I'm trying to remember how far out we went. We got out to where it's a very open area where you can camp, and we all just kind of sat there and ate some snacks.
Yeah.
And then I hauled back. I said, "Hey guys, I gotta get back on the road." So I kind of trail ran a little bit back to get to the car. But yeah,
I think that's where at that old campsite, that's where the Engine Creek Manway comes in from the ranger station.
Yeah,
and it comes up, and it's
That's it. So it's a cool little spot. So that's But speaking of trails, do you all have a favorite trail out there in the Smokies, like a go-to?
Do you want to take it first?
Mine is Hazel Creek. My favorite trail is Hazel Creek because there is water crossings. I thought it was easy. I thought it was really pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you like the trail that has the big tree that's on it. And so that one, do you remember the name of it?
My favorite trail is Boat Mountain because it has a big tree, and I like the big tree.
Nice.
And it's uphill.
Yeah. Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. That Boat Mountain being one of the 4-letter word trails of those that do the 900, because you go up it so many times. It's a good steep trail. It's pretty rocky towards the top.
I don't think I've done that one. Yeah.
It takes you up to Spence Field, basically, on the AT. Okay. But you come up out of Cades Cove, and it's a really pretty trail. It's just one that it's got a lot of rocks, and you see a lot sometimes if you're trying to get a whole bunch of those connector trails.
No,
it's kind of down there. So yeah.
Now now Mount Camire, I mean, that's in it. I mean, I've got it. It's not here. I've actually got it in another room. I actually have a map, and I think it's dated in the late 30s. So it's even before they named that Mount Camire. It had another name altogether on the map.
I think it was like a White Rocks or White Cliffs, or
that's it. Yeah. And so yeah, and that's one of my favorites. About this time last year, Max was on spring break, so I took him up there last year, and we actually started at Davenport Gap and made our way up. And so that way he was able to see the shelter, which I've stayed at a few times. And but it's funny, I was with a run group last night here in Knoxville, and we were trail running, and afterwards it just kind of came up. They said, yeah, we were out in the Smokies last weekend doing a run, and I asked them which one they did, and they ran up Camire, and I was like, my goodness, where did you start? And they said, oh, we started at the campground in Cosby, did the short route, and then up, and then ran the long route back. And I mean, the short route itself, I think is like, I want to say 5 miles, maybe 6 miles uphill. And it's all uphill. So I was like, more power to you guys for doing that. But that one. I love that one just because of the fire tower alone is neat.
Yes. We've always enjoyed the ones with fire towers. Like Mount Sterling has been one that's
a good
we've
one.
done probably like 5-6 times. Yeah. coming up Mount Sterling, going up the short little bit up to Mount Sterling. Yeah.
I've been trying to get some friends of mine to do a weekend where we would get Sterling and Camille together. There's a nice little loop you can do.
Yes.
And they tell me I'm crazy, so I may have to do that one solo. I may do that one solo here in the next month or two when it warms up just a little bit. So
that'd be really pretty with some wildflowers. Actually.
I know, right? That's what I try to tell the guys, and they just shake their head and say no, and I'm like, all right, you guys, they're missing out. I mean, that's on them. That is on them. So, so do you all prefer, like when you hike, do you prefer like views? Do you prefer waterfalls, fire towers? Do you have are you just happy to be out there? Or?
Water crossings.
Okay, she likes water.
Crossings. Yeah.
He likes water.
Yeah.
You like trails that have what on them? History. Lots of old houses and rock walls and yeah.
Yeah, I really love it.
Oh yeah. Said with the wink, wink, hint, hint. Right. So he's always, if you didn't hear that, he's always like the ones that like Old Settlers Trail or some of the ones that have old home sites, old chimneys. He's really enjoyed that. She's loved anything that has water and has snails, has salamanders, anything that we can go looking for and digging, mushrooms, like just cool little things that are kind of along the trail. I'm kind of happy wherever. Like obviously, I like things that have I like to tie in the history, but I love finding flowers. I've got my little flower identification book, and I like to go out and try to figure out what things are. But I mean, I just love. I mean, you get me outside, and I'm pretty much a happy keeper. So. I'm not particular.
That's awesome. Now, did you all, speaking of camping, did you all do like some backpacking where you had to like bring in your tent, stay and all that jazz? I mean, I assumed yes, but again, what happens when you assume? So wow. So I guess when you guys are out camping or hiking, what are y'all's like three things that you have to take with you on a hike or on a camp?
What's 3 things that you couldn't live without?
Okay, I couldn't live without.
You couldn't live without what?
Water.
Okay. Well, yeah.
And sting pads. I couldn't live.
Oh, the sting. This person seems to be a magnet for yellow jackets, and so
I've got stung here, like twice in the back of the leg, in my ankle, on this arm, right here,
yeah.
and then like on right here.
So yeah, sting pads or Benadryl.
Yeah,
those are things that we definitely don't leave without for him.
Oh my goodness, yeah, I don't. Ooh, that's yeah. Those are definitely okay. So sting pads, water. Did you say and what?
And food.
What's your favorite snack? What's your favorite?
Yeah, what's your favorite snack there?
Peanut butter M&Ms.
Peanut butter M&Ms?
Yeah.
Nice. No, I like those. I agree with that. Yeah.
What about 3?
Water. Next. What?
That's a good question. Because you like freeze dried strawberries a lot.
No,
when I bring those,
high chews. Yeah.
And you do like high chews.
And first aid kit.
First aid kit.
There we go. Yeah, I think that's essential. That's definitely one.
I have to have my hiking poles. I can't tell you how many times I've been saved by them. So I have to have my hiking poles. What else? I like to have something to take pictures with. So my camera, my phone.
It's like a million.
I take a lot of pictures.
And we have proof because she takes pictures at every trail sign, even though we've done them before.
Yes. You guys are you guys are documented.
She's like,
yes. And I have every single expression that a kid could possibly make also documented. So,
there we go.
And I like to have good company. So I mean, those are my three faves, and then I mean, of course, your 10 essentials, like your things that you gotta have, you can't leave without.
Oh,
What?
and my fourth essential is an Alabama sweatshirt. I can't leave without the sweatshirt.
You have
Especially
no,
Alabama.
yeah,
And an Alabama sweatshirt?
which never saw the trail.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's
He's
stirred up
raised-
some controversy on here.
I
That's,
know. I mean, my husband's a really bad influence here.
well, my cousin Ray will be happy to hear that. That's he's the black sheep of the family because he likes
Yeah.
Alabama. No, I'm kidding. He's not.
He should be. No, I mean,
I,
my husband bless his heart, born in Alabama, so I mean, he came by it.
I think Ray would probably go as far as saying that I'm the black sheep of the family, but that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're here to talk about. But no, so that is awesome. So outside of, I mean, kind of talked about those go-to kind of snacks and what you take with you on a hike. But now that you all have completed the 900, like, is there another challenge? Oh, got one. Okay, yeah.
Visit all the national parks in every state.
Oh,
Yeah, in the United States.
Yeah.
Every national park in the U.S. We've already got a few within driving distance. That's and you all mentioned, in Jefferson County, Max and I were near-ish there over the weekend. We went up to a national park up there, a little further north. We went up to Cumberland Gap, and so that's a great national.
We were there. Well, we went last October, and I guess technically where we went maybe wasn't necessarily in that national park, but we did the Sand Caves and the White Rocks, which is just right outside of that Cumberland Gap National Park area.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of places up there, not just in the park, like you said, but outside the park that you can hike and kind of venture to. So every national park. What else?
You don't know.
Hold on. I want to go to Alaska and hunt, and I want to go to.
Oh, you wanted to go see. You want to go to the Southwest, and you want to do.
Oh yeah,
like a lot of like the Mesa Verde and the Pueblo Navajo, Hopi kind of ruins.
Yeah.
So
I want to see old Indian ruins in like Utah and Salt Lake City and all that.
Well, maybe not Salt Lake City.
Well, close to that.
In Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, definitely not there. Colorado, yes.
Okay, wow. So going up to Alaska to freeze your keister off, and then going back to the Southwest. That's maybe to warm up a little before you go back to go up to Colorado. So, which I guess technically the southern point of Colorado is in the Southwest. I mean, I'm kind of
maybe you think about like the four corners, right?
Yeah, exactly. There for a second there, I thought I was showing my ignorance of U.S. geography. That's pretty bad. No, that's awesome. That's no, those are both really good things. That's now so Landon, you've never been to Alaska? You haven't been there yet? No. Okay. All right. It's a fun. I've been a couple of times. It's such a large area, and I've only seen just such a small section of it. But had some friends of mine back in 2020. During the pandemic, and they were basically giving tickets away for Alaska, and went with a couple of buddies, and they said, we should do this again sometime. Would you be interested? And I said, sure. And I thought, maybe 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. No, their idea was 11 months later. So we went again. and that time my dad went with me. There was a whole group of us. Gosh, there was like 12 of us. We rented 3 SUVs. We looked like government agents because we all traveled together in these big, dark SUVs. And the guys gave me a hard time because I picked up a hitchhiker at one point that I could have swore was a Russian spy, but that's another story for another day. I mean, when your name's Natasha and you're, you say you're from Eastern Europe, but you're clearly from Russia. No, the 80s kid in me definitely came out. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure.
Know where you're from. Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, she was a really nice. No, she was really nice gal. And she'd been traveling throughout the US for a number of years. And that was in 2021. I want to say she started. It's funny because she was in the car with us for about an hour and we were laughing because she said she started out in Jacksonville, Florida, and made her way up to Alaska. And we're like, what in the world were you? What in the world brought you? Took you to Jacksonville and got you all the way up here. So she had some great stories. So, so what advice would you all give kids if they're wanting to hike and they're wanting to do something, kind of this on this level, this grand level? What advice would you give them as they're starting their journey?
Have fun.
A good one, Elizabeth. I like that.
I like that too.
Mm-hmm.
You got any thoughts?
Oh no.
You wanna think on it for a second?
Yeah, hard on.
Let's see, if I was to give advice to them,
I don't need advice because I'm already an expert.
Oh, that's what you want to tell yourself. If I was to give advice to them, I'm trying to think too. What would I tell you guys going back? Yeah, I mean, have fun, be safe. I mean, those are actually kind of common words out of my mouth.
I have one. I thought.
All right, Landon. Yeah.
Okay. Don't sit on a rock. You have to check the rock before you sit on it because the snake's under there. Same with a log if you step over, and you could get bent in your leg, and you could.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. All of the mommy cautions. I guess I would also add probably be respectful, I guess. Like
I like that.
When you go out into nature, that idea of being respectful of the fact that you're in somebody else's home, and just be aware of that as a kid, because so much of them is this idea of exploration, or like, oh, hey, we're going to go off, we're going to do this, that, and the other. And sometimes they might disturb a habitat without intending to, without realizing it. So just that kind of be respectful, be aware of kind of your surroundings and how that might impact
and don't
something else.
Litter.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I am a big believer, and so is Max, and leave no trace. And one thing I also tell him is like, take only pictures. So that's, so yeah, definitely don't litter. Gosh, that's, but no, those are good points. Those are good points. And then let's see. Goodness. Well, I think another thing we had mentioned what's going on next, the whole being careful when you're in the woods. Have you all like stumbled upon a bear or anything crazy like that? Yeah. Uh-oh. Is there a story here?
Yeah.
There's a couple of stories.
Let me tell my story.
Okay.
Wait.
Which one are you going to tell? Because there's so many to pick from. That's the funny thing. I mean,
the one on Hazel Creek.
Okay, hold tight. Let me say this first, and then you can tell that one. You would think that with hiking with kids, I mean, and I'm not out there just me and them necessarily. Like, it's me and them, and usually like 2, 3, 4 other people. Like, we're not quiet going through the woods.
Right.
You would think that we would have not seen bears, and I've now lost count. Like, can no longer remember how many bears we have seen, like more than my hands multiplied. So it's kind of funny how that has worked out.
It was actually Eagle Creek So
Yep, Eagle Creek.
my mom screamed hog because she looked down and this big black thing was
Mhm.
running out of hog boggles.
Yeah, I was down in the creek.
And we went in like a whatever it's called.
We quote unquote rounded the wagons, right?
And I was in the middle. And
Yeah.
she was too. And then my dad was in the back. And then my dad said, "That's not no hog, it's a bear," and it was following us.
Wow.
It popped up about 10 feet away, went back down into the rhododendron.
And then it came back up. And then,
and then it came back up and came down the trail. You go.
My mom, she's always said, if you see a hog, then hide behind a tree. So I hid behind this tree that was like this big. And then I got in a circle. I was like, what am I doing here then? We're supposed to climb the tree, not hide behind it.
Well, I mean, the tree is still a barrier between a hog if the hog was going to come after you.
And hogs cannot climb trees.
No, hogs cannot. Bears can.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why you'd run from a bear.
No, you definitely don't run from a bear.
Bear with fresh pepper.
Yeah.
So the first bear, I was going to say the first bear I ran into in the Smokies would be near, I think, the 20-mile ranger marker.
Yep.
And that was back. That was in October several years ago, and it was a unusually warm October day, and so I started late, and I was about 5 miles in, and I actually saw a rattlesnake that was coiled up on the trail. And luckily, the weather had dropped a little bit, so I guess it was sleeping because it was a little cold. And thankfully, otherwise, I was in striking range. But I'm sure it would have slithered off anyway. But then about a mile after that, I ran into a group who was hiking down the mountain, going back to the ranger station. And as I'm coming up on them, I said, I want to warn you all, about a mile down, and they said bear. And I said, no, God, no, I wouldn't even be up here if there was a bear. And they all kind of laughed. I said, no, a rattlesnake. And they're like, well, that's kind of worse. It's like, yeah, but it's sleeping. If it's awake, it's probably off the trail by now. But then got up to the top, and I planned on hiking a little further out to the dam and Fontana, and connected to the AT, and pop up shower happened, and I had to turn around, and there was a little bit of some thunder. I didn't see any lightning, thank goodness, but I came around a switchback, and this big old bear just jumped down off the ridge, and it was lucky for me, it was far enough away, and it was an older bear, and it just looked like I'm just too old. I don't care. And fortunately kept going. I watched him go down the ridge. And then once I knew it was safe, I just hauled it to my car. I had like another, I think, 2 miles to get to the car. But so that was my first. That may have been I was going to say definitely the first in the park, but I think that was my first bear experience.
It was your very first.
Yes. That's awesome. That is, Elizabeth, I like that. I tell really bad dad jokes. That one may be the best one I've heard all day, maybe all week. So that's a good one. I barely escaped. So no. All right. So I think that there is a debate, though, as far as when you're doing a s'more, there's something better than the traditional s'more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, way better.
All right.
So we've definitely brought this as some of our treats on our backpacking adventures, because we do like to, if we can make a little fire, we will when we're backpacking, and of course when we're car camping. Oh yeah, I mean, game on! Like you're bringing your arsenal of what you can put in the back of your car. But you bring chocolate chip cookies, marshmallows,
or Chips Ahoy.
Yeah, the
Chips
Chips Ahoy
Ahoy.
cookies, because they're smaller. They make a good size for one marshmallow, right? And then Landon, what is the secret ingredient? Reese's peanut butter cups. And put that all together. Yes.
Wait. My other favorite snack on the trail is high chews.
Yeah, you like high chews.
But I can't have them because I have braces.
We now have braces. We got braces like what, a a couple weeks before he finished, he had to get like a brace and retainer. And,
Expander,
Oh,
braces.
wait. So what was the snack again? You can't have because of braces. What was it?
high chew. It's like a super
Here, I'll go get
chewy. No. It's like a super chewy Starburst.
Oh,
Like
Oh.
they're wrapped individually wrapped, but it's like they're like a fruit chew, but they're extra chewy.
oh
So-
goodness. Oh,
And
wow.
they come in good
But
flavors.
they're good. Grape is the best flavor.
No,
That's
no,
just
no.
my
Mango.
Lemon.
Mango.
Lemon.
Grapefruit's pretty good too.
Lemon.
Got quite the controversy there. Goodness. It's
Yes.
all right. I'm gonna have to try them out. And I would bet that Max has probably had those before because he's a big Starburst fan. He loves Starburst.
Yes.
So
If he likes those, yeah.
Grape is still the best. It's lemon.
I have the sweet and sour kid. I mean,
there we go. That's wow. Oh goodness. Well, I gotta say, Elizabeth and Landon and Jennifer, thank you all very much for coming on. I appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to your all's next adventure. Oh wait, hold on. We were talking about national parks. That's right. I was going to mention that
Yeah.
earlier. So you want to hit every national park. Have
Yes.
you all already started? Do you have like, hey, we've already hit so many, or what?
Yeah, we've gone to Yosemite in
We've been to
California.
Yosemite. And of course the Smokies.
Yeah.
And I've been to a number of others
Have you
throughout
been
my
to
life.
the Grand Canyon?
I've not been to the Grand Canyon, but I've been to Badlands. I've been to a number of the smaller national park monuments, like South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming, area. I've been to South Dakota.
That's where
We
she got
had-
my bear claw.
We had planned on doing Acadia,
Yeah.
2020 year. That was going to be our fall break trip
Oh.
of 2020. So we kind of know what happened there, and we haven't got back up to Acadia to replan that
What's
one.
Acadia?
That was in the national park that's up in.
I was really looking forward to the jacuzzi.
Mommy.
Oh, we had found a nice place that we were going to stay for
Mommy.
the week.
I've never been to Maine.
No, I know.
When did you?
But we're going to at some point
When?
when we get to reschedule it. So
But I wasn't going to go to Maine.
yeah,
you were.
You were. Yes. We weren't
Well,
leaving you at that point. No.
Elizabeth, you sound a little bit like Max in the sense that if we're not camping and we get a cabin, his first question is, does it have a hot tub? And so,
Yes.
so when we went, well, speaking of national parks, actually, we went to New River Gorge this past summer.
Yes. Yes.
And we stayed, my dad lives close enough. We drove out there but we wanted to stay an extra day or so. So we actually found a cabin on Airbnb and
Yep.
got it on the cheap. We were very fortunate. And he was really stoked when he heard that it came with a hot tub. So we definitely wore that out. It was fun. And it was cool because we're kind of secluded where we were and actually saw a family of deer. I don't know what you call a group of deer, but we saw a family of a family. Yeah, that's what we'll call them. And they were kind of just going through the woods as we were in the hot tub, kind of relaxing after doing some hiking that day. And then Acadia is super nice. I was fortunate enough to go. This was prior to 2020, but I only got to spend a day out there, and that's
not long enough.
That's not long enough at all. But the company I was with, it's probably best it was only a day. But that's again another story. They might say the same thing about me. Shoot, but we were up there just for like a Northeast kind of just tour and of several places, and luckily. Had enough time to where we were able to dedicate a day to Acadia and didn't even scratch the surface there. I mean, that's one I definitely plan on going back to. And my buddy Lucas, I want to say that's up there as far as one of the favorite places that he's been to. And if not, I'll definitely hear from Lucas, and he'll tell me otherwise. But I remember we talked about that, and but that's a great one. So awesome. Well, again, Elizabeth, Jennifer, Landon, thank you all very much for coming on to the podcast, and hopefully I'll see you guys out on the trails again soon.
Yes. Yes, I hope so too, Jeremy.
All right, thanks. Hey.
Thanks.
I want to thank Stewart Family again. It was a pleasure talking to Jennifer and her kids, Elizabeth and Landon. I'm telling you, great kids, a fantastic time. I think they were more mature than I was actually on that podcast. And really looking forward to seeing the adventures that they're going to be getting into next. I think it's awesome that they've got a great goal of hitting every national park. That's just killer. And with the commitment that they have, I have no doubt they're going to be able to do that, and in record time. Hey, speaking of parks, speaking of great hikes, again, we're going to be going here at the end of the month, March 30th. Go ahead and sign up for that. It's a great, great hike with great group at Peaceful Side Brewery in Maryville, Tennessee. If you hadn't listened to the podcast that I did with them, the previous one, man, check it out. I think you'll be happy that you did. Also, want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of Price Points. Hope you really enjoyed learning about the Stewart family. Funny side note, after we got done with the interview, come to find out, it's a small world, actually went to the same high school that Jennifer's husband went to. So that was really wild to talk about that and find out that we know mutual people. And he actually knows a cousin of mine, not my cousin Ray, who I referenced in the podcast or in the interview, but another family member of mine. So it's good times. Again, thanks for tuning in today. If you haven't yet, hey, give us a like and a follow. Be really appreciative, really happy that you did. Well, until next time, thanks for tuning in to Price Points. Take care.